I'm Yug.
Tonight we're going to be talking about Sonic the Hedgehog 4.
Brisbane guy sued by Nintendo.
IINet, vindicated.
Games and stuff.
Games, just generally.
Games and stuff.
You're just trying to oversell that.
Games.
Oh my god.
I sound like a ghost now. Games.
No.
No?
You don't.
Okay. Alright. Sorry.
Ghosts don't exist and sadly you do.
Hey, I'd like to. This is the second time Matt and I are actually getting together this week and blathering on about stuff. We were special guests on a actual, real life radio show.
Yeah, actual radio that had like radio and stuff.
They even had like the microphones that were actually held up by stuff.
Yeah.
So we didn't have to hold them ourselves.
Yeah, it was very, very sophisticated. I was really impressed.
High-tech stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah. Have you been playing Bioshock 2?
Nope.
Me neither.
We're like the only people not playing Bioshock 2, I
Man,
think.
I actually regret giving out our copies to Jay and Luke, who are doing the 360 and PS version respectively. Respectively?
Are they both reviewing it?
I think so.
I thought
Well, you
Luke
know what?
just bought it.
You know what? No, did he?
Well, I know we gave a... this is really not the sort of thing
No,
we
I
need
guess
to talk
it's
about
not.
on the
Yeah,
podcast.
sorry.
We'll
I guess I just
probably
wanted to
sort
say
that out.
how pissed off I am that I'm not playing it, because I really want to play it right now, and I'm
You
not.
know they sell it at shops, right?
Yeah. It's not the selling; it's the time
Yeah,
factor.
that is
there's
a big
this
issue,
whole
isn't it?
stupid bar that I'm opening up.
Yeah,
that's
that
taking
is
up
a
all of
stupid bar.
time. So yeah, anyway.
Sonic 2, Sonic 4, Sonic Adventures.
Sonic 4. Were you a big Sonic fanboy back in the day? Were
Yeah,
you Sega or Nintendo back in
I
the
was very
16-bit
Sega.
days?
I was very Sega, and in fact, I was 8-bit.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah, I only had the Sonic on the.
Oh right,
on
okay,
the,
yeah.
Master System ones, never the Mega Drive ones.
They had Sonic 2 on the Master System, didn't they? I'm sure they did.
Yeah, they had Sonic 2 and I think 3 as well.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah. There were they basically just made parallel ones. I think I'm pretty sure that was a long time ago now, but yeah, no, I was a big fan of them, and they were one of the few games I actually had on my Master System because we like didn't have a lot of money for a game a month.
Apart from Alex Kidd, which
Alex Kidd was built in, of course.
Yeah, but look, I'm a huge fan of the Sonic series as well. Going back to when I was a crossover. I had a Super Nintendo and a Mega Drive.
Oh,
and,
so rich.
Well, I was an only child at that point and spoiled pretty much until my sisters came along and ruined everything.
Yeah, I hate them.
Yeah, me too. But I loved the Sonic games. I loved the Sonic games back then so much that I got Sonic 3, Sonic and Knuckles, and I actually replayed through all the original Sonic games when you plugged the cartridge into the top of the Sonic and Knuckles cartridge to unlock all the extra stuff.
Right.
And then bought a 32X just to play the Knuckles, the Echidna version with the Cows characters that didn't even have Sonic in it. And bought a Mega CD so I could play Sonic CD.
You lose. You fail so much.
That's pretty impressive.
I do have to say, though, the Sonic games really picked up when they went to 3D.
Oh, yeah. Everyone kind of acknowledges that transition went so smoothly. And it's unfortunate what happened to Mario, though, in his transition to 3D.
I mean, it worked for Sonic, so they figured it would work for Mario as well.
Yeah, I know. Who would have thought?
In all seriousness, I actually really liked Sonic Adventures.
Yep.
I didn't like the latter one that much, but Sonic Adventures actually really on the Dreamcast I really liked.
Yeah, I'll pay this to a point. I liked Sonic Adventures when you're playing as Sonic.
Meh, I still liked all the extra stuff.
Big the cat.
Whatever.
Let's go fishing.
Didn't have to do it.
Yeah, I don't know. I just didn't like those aspects.
I don't care.
Or running around. Was
care.
it Katie, the character, the female hedgehog? Amy, and she's got a hammer.
So you didn't have to play it?
Yeah, you did.
No, you didn't.
You did.
No, you didn't.
This isn't going anywhere.
No, it's really not. It's like the worst argument
I guess
ever.
the whole point is it's. I'm actually quite excited the fact it's Sonic 4, so they're really pimping it as this is the sequel to Sonic the Hedgehog 3, which I think is cool.
Yeah.
A lot of us have really fond memories of the 2D Sonic games, and from the very, very, very brief moments that we've seen in the trailer that got released the other day, it's a return to form. It looks like similar levels and all this kind of thing.
Wait. Not similar levels.
Right.
Exactly the fucking same levels.
It does look like there's that extra 3D depthy element to it. When they remake games.
It looks like they've taken the original game and they've increased the resolution of it to HD, and they've made the whole thing basically 3D by extruding it out a bit.
Well, it looks cool. Anyway.
Yeah.
What do you mean, man? Really? You have no interest in this one?
I have mild interest, and I'm willing to give it more of a look when there's something to see that isn't basically just showing up dates on the screen.
And just pandering to fanboys.
But I think that just because a game was good 10 years ago doesn't mean it's good now.
Well, I actually got Sonic and Sonic 2 on Xbox Live when it got released on that as well, and played through them again, and loved it just as much.
But did you love it because it's a great game,
Yeah,
or
well,
did you love it because of the nostalgia?
That's the question, isn't it? I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, look, I'm excited about this. I'm mainly excited that the next Sonic game that's coming out has a chance to actually be good.
Or is it?
What do you mean?
Well, there's that Dark Knight thing as well.
I don't count. Is the Dark Knight? The Black Knight.
The Black Knight. Does it really matter?
No, it's no.
It's Sonic with a sword.
Yeah, I know.
It's
We've
a bit
gone
weird.
here. We've gone here. I'm sick of the 3D stuff to the point where I don't really care about Sonic anymore. So the fact that I'm excited about this game, I'm happy about.
You know what was quite good?
What?
Sonic Rivals.
On the PSP? Yeah?
It was kind of a very similar feel to the 2D Sonic games. It was, of course, 3D, but it was very much a single flat plane through a 3D environment. And it was actually quite interesting. I really enjoyed it.
That was a 2D side scroller, right?
I just explained that.
But you said it was a 3D game.
It was a 3D environment that you ran on a 2D plane along.
Okay, right. Okay.
Yes.
All right. I'm with you now. It's all good.
And it was all race-based, so you actually had to be really quick.
Yeah. The other thing with Sonic 4 is it's being plugged as Episode 1. It's downloadable content, which is probably the way it should be, so that's fine. So, yeah. Good on you, Sega. Congratulations. Make some right choices. This is a good move.
They've done a few things right lately.
Alien vs. Predator.
Bayonetta.
Okay.
Whatever.
All right.
Back off.
So people getting sued, people not getting sued, people winning their cases and everything like that. I think a lot of this podcast will be taken up by these kind of stories.
They will indeed. Particularly a Brisbane guy.
Actually, no. Let's start with the IronNet one because it kind of leads into the other one.
Do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
Trust me, I can segue this one. I can segue the shit out of it.
I'll be looking forward to this segue. This will be one hell of a segue.
Oh, yeah.
If you have a hat, guys, we'll give you some advanced warning so that you can hold on to it.
So IronNet, the ISP internet service provider, they're in a legal court battle.
A legal court battle. Yeah. My God. Our local legal correspondent, Yug, here with the news.
So it makes it sound like, Phoenix Wright or something. A legal court battle, round 1.
Objection. Yes, they've been in a legal court battle thing and stuff with, people and shit.
Yeah. You don't need to pretend to be me. Come on, you
okay,
can actually tell people what it's actually about.
Everyone should probably know this, unless you've been living in a bucket. IronNet was sued by a gigantic consortium made up of rich, angry bastards.
Right.
Which was called AFACT, or should be called AFUCT. Right? Anyway, they were... They included kind of pretty much every movie studio and also local things.
Like your Sonys and Universals and all those kind of things.
Yeah, 7, local Channel 7 as well was one of them.
Okay.
So it wasn't all US, but they sued IINet for basically not stopping piracy, which therefore makes them a contributor to piracy and therefore a pirate and so on.
Right.
So the case has been really a landmark for Australia in terms of if they win this shit, what happens? They were quite.
Is this a landmark for Australia? Is this or is it in kind of first of its kind internationally, or?
Well, I don't actually really know, to be honest. It probably is pretty significant internationally as well. But the point, I think, of the ruling has been that, just to sort of get to that, the ruling has been declared in favour of IINet.
Yeah.
With the judge basically saying IINet. That AFACT failed to make any form of case.
Right.
IINet,
it's not your fault, basically.
Well, they ruled in favour of the common sense view, which is that IINet are simply providing a service and cannot be held responsible for what people do with that service.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which is fair enough.
That to me is entirely fair and reasonable. A lot of people have seen it that way. It would be like expecting Australia Post to check every, mail that's sent and make sure it's
they should for the safety of this country.
Whatever. But anyway, the whether that's applicable, because there's something I think it's called safe harbour law or something. There is basically a law that protects internet service providers from legal ramifications of what happens on their networks. It's a specific law
Okay.
in Australia.
Yep.
And IONET seemed to reasonably think that applied to them.
Yep.
But AFACT didn't. I don't quite know
Thought
why.
differently. But I guess the point is now that, IONET is not responsible for piracy or bad things actually happening over their network, which makes sense. It should be the responsibility of the people that are actually doing those things. So,
Well, yeah, and it should be that if someone's stealing your stuff or pirating your stuff, that's your problem. You deal with it.
which leads nicely into the fact that there's been a...
Whoa. Guys, hats. Everyone with hats.
Actually, I got no clever segue. It's just I like the stories kind of were similar to each other. So
Yeah, but I think...
we've hyped this up now way too
All
much.
right.
So the Brisbane guy has been sued by Nintendo now that they can't sue IONET or
What?
something. I don't know. That makes no sense. Anyway, this
Brisbane guy has a name.
what's his name?
Do you know his name?
No.
Or did you just think he's Brisbane guy and that's his actual name?
No, he's a guy in Brisbane. I'm a guy in Brisbane.
Yes, you are.
Hey,
His name is James Burt.
right,
Yeah. Jimmy B.
Jimmy.
Jimmy
Yeah,
B.
that's a good point. Make him sound more criminal.
Yeah, well, it's hard to know what to say about this case. He was sued by Nintendo because what happened was a Dick Smith Electronics sold him a copy of the game.
This is New Super Mario Brothers on the Wii, by the way.
Sorry, sold him a copy of New Super Mario Brothers Wii about a week before it was supposed to be released. They broke street date. He took a picture of himself proudly kind of giving the thumbs up and showing his game and his receipt that he'd bought it, and then put it on file sharing networks for other people. Nintendo don't like that.
Not
They're
particularly.
actually against that.
Who would have thought?
Yeah, so they sued him and they, yesterday I believe it was, won the case and sued him for $1.5 million worth of damages and $100,000 worth of court costs.
Right. I've often thought about... I've thought about this kind of thing when people sue individuals that obviously... I'm pretty sure this guy doesn't have a cool 1.5 mil in his back pocket.
It's unlikely.
Yeah. But it's... So what happens now to this guy? I mean, he declares bankruptcy and he doesn't have to pay it?
Everyone is saying that. Everyone's saying, well, he's going to declare bankruptcy, poor guy, 7 years he'll be out of trouble, but in the meantime, it's going to be difficult for him. No. Damages don't work that way. You don't get out of them by going bankrupt. I checked into it.
Oh, really?
So he's fucked, basically.
But, I mean, can he appeal it in a certain way? Like, I don't have enough money. Can I pay you off at $5 a week?
Well, I don't really know. I mean, they can't. The funny thing is he actually settled out of court. The case wasn't successful. It was actually settled out of court for $1.5 million.
Oh, so out of
So
court.
he's basically said, you know what? I'm not sure. I don't like where this case is going.
Yes.
Can we just make it a cool 1.5?
Right.
If that's all right. So I don't know what it would have been if he'd continued with the.
Well, I mean, the impression I get is that this is Nintendo making an example of someone. And, fair enough. I mean, piracy is illegal. We all know it. And everyone that does it, I mean, these are the risks you take. Although, a lot of the time, you never really think about these kind of ramifications. They won't happen to me. There's that feeling of sort of anonymity when you're doing stuff over the internet.
Anonymity.
Did I say it right?
No, really not.
Fuck. I was about to turn around and say, hey, did you like that?
Yeah, I wish you had now. I should have let it go. That would have been awesome.
How do you say it?
Anonymity.
Anonymity.
Oh, my God. Keep trying, seriously, because this is awesome.
Oh, I haven't even had a drink.
Anonymity. Go. Big. You can do it.
I feel like I sound like Rain Man.
Yug, I believe in you.
How do you say it?
Anonymity. All right, moving.
This is really embarrassing. Let's move on.
Let's move on.
Anonymity.
Oh, well done.
Thank you.
Gold stuff.
That's right. Let's never say that word ever again.
Yeah, well, I know what you're saying is that people pirate things without really thinking of the consequences. But the thing is, downloading something wouldn't have cost him this. What what was dumb was putting it on a file sharing network for the rest of the world a week before the release of one of.
And taking a photo of yourself with the actual game. Not really
That
being
is-
subtle about it.
That
you
is
know?
a special level of retarded.
See, I can understand people actually, you get the game early. It's like, hey, check it out. I've got the game and you don't. That's fine. Just then don't. You
then
know.
to file share, that seems like.
Although, I mean, did he take any other did he take photos of him actually copying it with his thumbs up going, yeah?
Yeah,
Or,
here's me copying it, and here's me holding my driver's license.
and now here's me with my court case
Yeah.
document.
But yeah, so that was kind of dumb. The only issue I really take with this thing, the guy was a fuckwit. He did a fuckwit thing, and he got sued by a giant company.
Sure.
And he got rightly. Well, he didn't get found guilty, but he settled out of court because he was gonna, basically. But the amount seems excessive, $1.5 million. I mean, for a corporation to sue a private individual for $1.5 million seems unethical to me. It's
unethical?
Yeah, unethical.
Okay, all right.
Well, because they can ruin you.
Yes.
And I'm not quite sure if it's all right to destroy someone personally.
Well, I mean, the flip side is that by him actually uploading that game to the torrents...
Did he destroy them?
He didn't destroy them. But, I mean, that would have been... they would have claimed, loss of revenue and all this kind of stuff. And you know what? Justifiably so.
Justifiably so, but $1.5 million worth of revenue. And can you do that? Can you say, well, you cost me $1.5 million, so I will... cost you 1.5. The positions are not equal.
No.
He is not Nintendo. Nintendo won't make $1.5 million while taking a shit.
You can't go into court against someone and say, oh, it's okay, you don't have to pay as much because of, your social standing or your...
Why not?
Well, because then there's a precedent sort of thing, So what? It's okay if some guy that was a multi-millionaire did it and he got fined one... Oh, no, that's fine because he's got the money to pay it and it won't ruin him?
Yeah.
Really? You think that's fine?
No, to a degree. I think the problem with the law as it stands in this case is not really a good example of that because the guy did do the wrong thing and so on. But he could never have won. Even if he didn't do anything wrong, he could never have won because they could afford the lawyers to bankrupt him regardless.
Now you're just pandering those sort of things.
Pandering. Like a panda. What am I eating? Fucking bamboo.
Anyway, I'm sick of this law stuff. We're supposed to be a games podcast. We should talk about games.
No, wait. The point I was going to make that is more relevant, $1.5 million is a lot of money, and it assumes that it cost them $1.5 million for what he did. I think that's a really exaggerated claim.
Okay.
They say thousands of people downloaded it. I worked it out. That would be approximately 15,000 people downloading the game.
Yep.
I doubt it was that many. And even if it was, how many of them would have bought it anyway? And even then, can you really claim for damages on revenue? Shouldn't it be on profit?
Keep in mind, you are sticking up for a guy that broke the law. Obviously,
I'm not sticking up for him. I think he did the wrong thing, but I also think that destroying him completely is probably unnecessary.
Well, it does send a clear message out to anyone, especially us in Brisbane sort of thing.
They should have just spent $40,000 and put a fucking hit on him then.
Right.
Seriously, they might as well have just killed him.
I don't think Nintendo really do that.
I suspect they do.
Right. Well, we're going to talk about...
They send Mario around.
Really?
Well, Luigi. He's got that long
Luigi's
thing.
Luigi's got the more sort of like the evil eye. He's always in his brother's shadow.
Yeah.
You can see him, just lashing out unexpectedly.
Not Wario, though. You'd think he'd be into that, but he wouldn't be.
No, it's not the crazy... It's not the ones that actually proclaim to be crazy you got to look out for. It's the ones that... Yeah. The quiet ones.
Yeah, it's the quiet ones you got to watch.
The brother in the background with the failed launch title.
And the overbearing mother.
What?
I'm speculating a
little bit.
Yeah,
I think you are.
But I'm pretty sure he had an
I
overbearing
seriously
mother.
want to start talking about games now. This is really... We are so off topic.
Yes.
More than usual. We didn't have any... Obviously, neither of us are playing Bioshock 2, much to my disgust. But we do have other games that we've actually been playing lately that we can talk about. And besides...
Can I start? Because mine's a bit more boring. Yours are more interesting.
Go for it.
I've been playing Dante's Inferno.
Is that boring?
Well, you've got exciting new things that aren't even out. Most of the people listening have gone, yeah, Dante's Inferno was alright. I finished it in 2 days.
No, see, I actually would assume that a lot of people wouldn't have gotten Dante's Inferno at all, being all bayoneted, dark-sided out sort of thing.
Yeah,
certainly I was. I really didn't have much interest in Dante's Inferno because I'd finished Darksiders and I just was like, well, I've kind of done that genre at the moment.
Yeah, there's kind of a God of War thing happening. We've been a bit God of War'd out. I actually quite liked. I played Bayonetta, not Darksiders,
Yeah.
but I actually quite liked Bayonetta. Dante's Inferno, I think is. It's funny how they can take one of the most profound and important works of fiction and turn it into like a brain dead hack and slash, and make up a bunch of shit.
But is it bad?
It's not great.
Right. Okay.
It's as far as even that genre, it's pretty mindless.
Right. Okay.
And they've kind of fucked up combat,
okay.
which
So-
is kind of a core of that
Yeah.
sort of
Yeah.
gameplay.
You're not talking it up basically at the moment.
Well, there's two things you've got to really get right in that kind of game. The
Yes.
story, which is simply stolen from Dante's novel,
Sure.
but only incredibly loosely, like the dude went to hell.
Right.
It's literally like nothing else is related.
Right. Okay.
Dante himself is totally different. Beatrice was never in the novels.
Yeah.
What? She was in Paradiso, not Inferno.
Anyway.
Oh, I did. He's right. Beatrice in real life was actually just a chick that Dante in real life wanted to bone instead of his wife.
I actually know nothing about Dante or anything
Yeah,
like that.
whatever.
So
Anyway, it's
yeah.
pretty bad. There's no weapon variety and there's no combo variety. It's actually quite a dull combat system.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, you recommend it then.
Highly recommended to everyone who doesn't have a brain.
Right, there you go. Well, look, I got a chance. Yeah, these ones are exciting to play a couple of games that aren't out yet. I've rambled on about Red Dead Redemption in plenty of other podcasts, so there's no need to do it here. Needless to say, I actually played it, got some hands-on time with it, and it's as good as I hoped it would be, so that's good. But the other one I got to see was a game called Metro 2033.
That one I haven't heard that much of.
And I hadn't heard bugger all about it either. And I had no expectations. I didn't know anything about it when I actually saw it, which was kind of cool. Usually I've got at least some idea of what the game is. It's by the guys that did Stalker. And they're based in the Ukraine. And apparently some of the stories I've heard about their situation over there, like what they have to do to get certain computer parts, they need to smuggle things in.
Wow.
Yeah, there's like, and I'm not going to repeat them because I know I'll fuck up and I'll get it all wrong, and I will, I'm going to find some of these stories out because they were awesome.
Okay.
Just really weird Eastern European sort of crazy stories about these developers making these games. And Stalker was a pretty game, so it looked really good. So anyway, this one's set in Moscow. It's a post-apocalyptic game, as most games are these days.
No, most games are. Well, I guess there are quite a lot of.
There's quite a lot of them, especially lately. But I mean, the interesting thing about this one is it's got this European sort of flavour to it. They're all they've been pushed underground, and they use it's the metro tunnel subway system sort of thing to move around. But it all feels very much like that scene in Enemy at the Gates, where they're walking along, and there's all the. It's not just the soldiers; it's the families as well, and the women and children crying and screaming, or like the futuristic scenes in Terminator and all that kind of stuff. The whole sequence, and anytime you're underground, feels like that. It's all really dimly lit, and there's just people crying and desperation everywhere. It's really cool. But not cool.
Nice. You're all hard.
It's not cool. It's different. I liked it. Anyway, it caught my attention. But the thing that I found most interesting about the game, if you really want to find out more about it, you can read my preview. Money.
This interested me greatly.
Money in the game is bullets.
Mm.
And it's the same bullets you use to shoot.
Mm.
So if you want to buy more cool stuff later in the game, don't shoot as much.
Yeah.
Which is not something as gamers that we used to. We're used to like just spraying them around like nothing else. We don't really conserve our bullets or anything like that.
At the very least, like even if you have to conserve it, it's just because you can get more bullets later.
Yeah, exactly. You don't really think about stockpiling bullets.
No.
So
It's an interesting mechanic that could be really hard to balance, but
yeah, it could turn out to be really, really frustrating. Or, if you're not very good at it, obviously you're going to have less money, I guess. Or I don't know, it will be a really weird balance. But I like the idea. I thought that's different, and it kind of ties in with the whole, desperation sort of feeling with the rest of the game.
Frankly, anything we haven't seen yet in a post-apocalyptic shooter, I'm all for.
Yeah. Well, don't worry. There's still like demons and mutated things and all that kind of stuff. So, Yeah.
Why are there demons and mutated
I
things?
actually I have
What
no
happened?
idea. I don't know.
I'm trying to find out what happened because there's a lot of shit I'm going to have to prepare for because one of these things is going to come true, right? Logically.
Yeah. No. That. What was the thing you were saying about Penn and Teller before? Talking about
Oh,
the apocalypse.
Just about how everyone seems to think they're going to be one of the people to survive the apocalypse, and the chances are pretty good you won't.
Yeah.
Like,
statistically
low that you'll be one of the one.
So
in a
there's
million
not
that
much point
survives.
stockpiling things or preparing because you'll probably die.
I was explaining to Kyle, my son, how to kill various different monsters the other day.
Uh-huh.
We had a long discussion in the pool about how to take out vampires, werewolves, and zombies. I think these are the key ones that he
I'm
needs to
surprised
cover.
they don't teach them in the school system. Really?
I actually think it's quite a lack that they don't. He thought you could kill a vampire with garlic, which is
Well, that's
Like-
that's just disgraceful.
you can't kill it with garlic. Like
No.
you can annoy them.
Yeah, they'll
No,
get really pissed off.
It's a repellent, but
They'll
it
be
certainly
like, "Wow, that
doesn't kill
smells
them.
really bad. I might not kill you." We're getting heckled in the background here, so
Whatever.
yeah.
But yeah, silver bullets for the werewolves and so
Yes.
on, that sort of thing. And the go for the head, the zombie. And the main point was the zombie thing because the zombie apocalypse, I think we can all agree, is a given.
Right.
It's coming.
Yep. Obviously.
Be prepared.
Okay.
Are you prepared?
No.
Good. You will be the first, and the zombies that eat your brain will be the first to die.
I'll be the first zombie. You know those idiots at the beginning of the movie that's like there's a zombie apocalypse and it's the people that
They're
aren't
like,
the main
"Hey,
characters
what
and
are
they,
you
they
doing?"
walk into a shopping center or something like that and they open the fridge and then they close the fridge and there's a zombie standing there and they die. That'll be me.
Yeah.
I'll be one of the first zombies and I'll come to get you.
Awesome.
That'd
That'd be great.
That's all I got.
What other games have you been playing? Like, have you been playing
I have
anything?
not had time to play, but
You've been. What?
you know what I did play the other night? There's a this is really annoying. It's a bunny game, bunny something. This this doesn't help. It's a flash game online.
Bunny Killer 4?
No.
Bunny Killer 3? Bunny Killer 2?
No.
Can't think of any others.
Prequel? No. There was an announcement recently. There was a massive grant that happened
Whatever,
down
dude.
in
Get on with life.
Victoria for small developers and things like this. And
Anonymity.
one of the guys that actually got the grant actually got quite a significant amount, about $150,000, to develop his game into a digital distributed actual game. He'd already actually created it on websites on his website. It's a flash game, and you play as a bunny, and it's like an RTS, but it's not. I don't know. Whatever it was, I started playing it because I thought I should check this out because this prominent Australian independent developer up and coming and all this kind of stuff. Started playing it and finished it all in one sitting. It took me about 3 hours and just completely sucked me right in right at the beginning, which was surprising because it's a flash. I don't really like flash games all that much, and yeah, it was addictive.
Tully was playing a really interesting one the other day called Continuity, which basically involves different sections of the game level in different places, and it's kind of hard to describe, but if you saw it, you'd immediately get it.
Right, this doesn't work on a podcast then.
No, but basically, I'll just look it up, flash game continuity, but essentially, however you put the pieces, you can, if they line up, you can move from place to place.
Okay.
Just Google it and you'll see what it is.
Tetris sort of thing.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
In any
Okay.
way.
All right, take that back.
But yeah, so you line the pieces up side by side and then run from one into the other and then move the other one round to the other side and then run through that kind of thing. So
all right, so it's a puzzle kind of
it's
game.
it's a like puzzle platformer thing. It's quite interesting.
On what platform?
Flash.
On Flash. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. But yeah. Look, I wish I could talk about more games.
I can. Do you know what I've been playing? What did you do? Did you just...
Oh.
Yoke hurt himself, and it was quite funny.
You know that moment where I caught my finger underneath my leg at the table. Caught my finger underneath the leg on the table and squished it. But you know that moment after you do something like that, and then for some reason you start laughing and crying at the same time?
Yeah.
No?
No, not a little bit.
That really hurts. No. All right,
No.
that's just me. Sorry, I'm bleeding.
Oh, yeah. You're barely bleeding.
Anyway,
You
what's
big
the other
sook.
game you've been playing?
I've actually been playing Half-Life 2 finally.
Oh my god!
I know, I'm finally catching up.
Is this just so I won't turn around to you and go, oh my god, you have to play that?
Yeah, there's a lot of people who basically say game of fail as soon as I say I
Right.
haven't played it.
Okay.
So
How you find it?
I actually wanted to... Good, it's good. I think I need to play it all the way to the end. It hasn't been as epic as I expected it to be so far.
Okay.
It's kind of been boy meets girl, boy saves girl's dad.
Right.
Yeah, I want to know what other people are playing, and I particularly want to know if anyone's catching up on games now, because there's a bit of a lull, apart from the Bioshock thing.
Apart from Bioshock 2 and Mass Effect 2 and your Darksiders and
Yeah.
Bayonettas and your upcoming, games coming out in the next couple of weeks. And
There's been a bit of a lull.
it's
of
actually
games
not
that
a lull at
interest
all.
me.
Okay, right. Well, there we go. Just because World of Warcraft isn't coming out this week.
Whatever.
All right, thank you everyone for tuning in. We'll talk to you again next week.
Love you, people. Except for that guy.